welcome back to the Corporate Burnouts. How are you, Mandy?
Doing so good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
How was your weekend?
I want to say it was good because I feel like that's what you're supposed to say when you're talking about your weekend in a public forum. However, my body hurts. I'm sore. We've been moving stuff all over the place. Moving is never a fun process, but
No, me and Dan have decided that we're never moving ourselves again.
yeah, well, we're doing things a little bit. It's not so bad, right? It's little by little.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, when you're not doing the whole move in one day.
yeah.
But still, you shouldn't be lifting a gun safe in any capacity.
Yeah, so that sucked. Thank God for dollies, but it wasn't enough to, save my back muscles. But
Yeah.
anyway, I had a productive weekend. We'll go with that.
Yeah.
What about you? You came home from the Smokies, so I don't know if you had a great weekend because
Yeah,
you
so
traveled home or you
it was
sad
it was
you
fun.
traveled home?
Yeah, so we stayed at a brewery on the way home. So on Saturday night, that's where we stayed, and it was so good. We had the best food and it was so good. And then but we got home, and I love getting home from a trip in the camper. Dan brings everything in, I put everything away, get all the laundry going. It's really satisfying to
Yeah.
get everything looks like we never went anywhere. But you have to wash sheets and blankets and towels and all the clothing that you use the whole time. And it's a
Yeah.
huge load, right? We had left with the dryer broken. All right. And this happens about every 8 months. The little, inside the dryer, there's a heating element and it'll break. And we just keep getting the Amazon ones for 20 some dollars. And Dan puts it in. It works for about 8 months. And
Another
then,
8 months, and
Yep.
here we go.
So it broke the day before we left, and we're like, whatever, it'll be fine. We'll fix it when we get back. We ordered the part. He puts it in so that I can start laundry, and it doesn't work. And we're like, well, shit, that's what's always fixed it. So I still have, I haven't had time over the last couple days. If he doesn't get it, we ordered a new one. If he doesn't get it fixed today, if that doesn't fix it, then I'm going to the laundromat today because we have comforter and sheets and all the clothes
Yeah,
and
literally
towels
every last
yes.
thing.
Yeah. So anyway, it's fine, but it stresses me out because, you want to be focused whenever you're working. You want to be relaxing when it's time to relax, and it feels icky to have that huge pile of laundry. I don't like that.
Yeah, it's not just the huge pile of laundry that you have though, right? It's the list that's living
It's
in
the
your
unfinished.
head
Yeah, it's the
of
unfinished.
what's not done yet.
Yes. So it just
That
keeps having to
eats
be
you
on the
alive.
list. Yeah. It's really fun. But I am happy that we came home. Brody had his first tennis match of the season yesterday, which was really good.
Nice.
But it was so stressful. So we're doing a video shoot the last 2 days for a client. They have a nonprofit. We're making a gala video. And so I have to be, 40 minutes away at this shoot until I should have been done at about 2:45. It was supposed to start at 3:30. But then it was going to rain. So they were moving it up to get ahead of the rain. And I'm like, well, shit, now I'm going to be late. And so I am, trying to balance everything and get there on time. Luckily, I was late, but the rain came early and they pushed it back, whatever. It doesn't matter, but it made me think about how, and I've never been a working mom, right? I'm a bonus mom. I have obligations and things that I want to go and support and be there for the kids, but I haven't done this. I haven't been a working mom for, 20 years or
Yeah,
anything.
for your kids' whole lives, yeah.
Right, no, but it's this is really difficult. I just don't know how working moms do it. And we've talked about this, right? We've talked about your struggle of, balancing and how to be everything to everyone. But, they say that, be a working mom, you can have it all. You can have everything. And I'm wondering if that's a big myth.
Listen, I know I don't have to tell you this, but that has been the struggle of my entire career. I grew up knowing all I ever wanted to be was a mom. I never wanted to be an astronaut. I didn't want to be a teacher. I never had that drive to any particular career. Even as a little kid, I wanted to be a mama. And then I grew up and got married. Of course, I had a job, but had babies, and we finally got to the place that we had been working towards, that it was like, okay, and now you get to be a stay-at-home mom with your kids. And I lost myself in being a wife and a mom completely. So that's what drove me to corporate, right? Like, I can't just be in charge of your laundry and your meals and your children and your, like, I need something for myself. And when the career of it all became possible, I saw that as something just for me, something that I could do that was for me, that I could find myself again in. And then it started the battle between mom and career woman, if you will. And it has been a teeter-totter balancing act the entire way. And it's exhausting. I do think you can have it all. In fact, I know you can. I did both for most of my kids' childhood, but at a cost. You can have
Yeah.
both, but it costs
Right.
you
It does.
greatly.
Well, it costs you, I think, from what I have seen, right? It costs you not feeling good enough at one or the other or both, right?
Or
So
both.
like,
Yeah.
yeah. And that's what I mean, that's what I saw you go through was like the push and pull of I'm a bad mom because I can't be there. I'm bad at work because I can't get all this done and then do this. And, like I watched you do that and feel bad about yourself because you're a high performer and a perfectionist that wants to be excellent at both, right? And you can be good at both, but you can't be perfect at both. There's nobody who can maintain that for long term, to be
Yeah.
everything to everyone.
Yeah, and I think the biggest problem with that isn't that you can't have both. It's not that you can't have both or that you can't do both. You can be a working mom. It's okay to have a
Yeah.
career and have children. The problem comes in when you set your own expectations of what your best looks like in both of those arenas at the same time. Because at the end of the day, what I found myself doing was trying to be two complete people living two completely almost separate lives in one body with one set of 24 hours in a day, right? Like,
Yeah.
just because I'm trying to do two different lives doesn't mean that I get 48 hours. I still
No.
have to accomplish both of these lives at the same time. And that
Yeah.
that was a balancing act that was honestly not fun. And that's what really wound up being like the eye opener for me, was like, I have exactly what I wanted, but there's no sparkle left in any of it. I resent the kids when I have them because I've got this working to-do list over here of shit that I'm not getting done because I have to focus on you when this is what I want to do. And then I'm pissed off because I have to go do really cool stuff at work because I'm not going to be home with the kids. So it's like you can't fully enjoy either aspect of what it is that you're doing because you're trying to literally divide yourself in half.
Yeah.
And it's not possible.
Well, and I think that obviously your situation was that you had a partner, right? This most of this time that
Yeah.
the girls were growing up, and so you weren't on your own, but there are working moms that are trying to be the best in both of their worlds, and they're the only parent, not just the default parent. They're the only parent,
Yeah.
you know?
And God bless
And
them.
yeah, like it seems impossible, right? It seems impossible. So are you going to when you're in that situation and you're like, I have to figure out how to grow in this company to make enough money to be the mom and the dad in this scenario, make enough money to raise these kids, there's got to be so much more burnout, right? When you're counting on, like, this career has to do something, it's not just,
Yeah.
well, I can be good enough at my job. I still have something for me, but my main priority is the
Yeah.
kids. It's like these single moms, their main priority is their kids, but
Providing for their kids.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so now they have
Trying to be the
it's like,
provider and the nurturer.
yeah, but even for, moms, working moms who have a partner, even a really involved partner, I think that I dare say, I think that the women generally take on the mental load of
Yeah.
everything that's going on, right? So you had a partner who was, the default parent Monday through Thursday, right? And he got them to school and all their activities. Made
But
sure,
I
like, you
still
had a
had to
good partner.
remember, I still had to
Yeah.
remember when all of the doctor's appointments were, when we had class parties, I still had to put lunch money in the lunch accounts. There did come a point where, like, where I started slipping, right? Whether it was with bills or date reminder, things like that, where it was like, hey, what are you? And I'm like, I'm trying to manage a house that I'm not really a part of half the time, and I'm trying to manage my job. Like, can you just fucking remember to buy the birthday present and get her to the party on time? Like, it became a thing. Actually, funny story, it was never about a birthday present. It was like, can you just pay the freaking electric bill? Does that have to be my job too? And he was like,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, cool, I got the bills now. And I started relinquishing those things because the mental load became a lot. But I'll tell
Yeah.
you, when I started relinquishing that mental load of home onto him, the disconnect got even greater, and we all know where
Yeah,
this
you
marriage
just passed,
ended. So,
right. But you just passed the mental load, and it caused him to then start to burn out of the relationship, right?
yeah,
Because now he's feeling the pressure.
'cause it's
And
too much.
truthfully, whenever, like you just saying that, it's like the mental load is probably the worst part. You know what I
It is
mean?
the worst
Like
part.
having to keep all that stuff in your head and make sure that you are reminding everyone of everything, that you don't let anything drop. That's probably why it started to burn Sam out, because he had to start taking that on. Because he's like, I can get the
Because
kids to
he was
school and get to
also
work.
running a business. Yeah, he was running a business and now carrying the mental load of running a household, which is a lot. So yeah, and it's so funny because as we're having this conversation about the mental load and just in self-reflection, I think that leaving corporate, it was the mental load, like, off, that gave me the most relief. And then, in starting to work with Essential Marketing Group, you became the work husband, and that has carried the mental load. Like, I don't know
Yeah.
how we got into this role dynamic, or if it was really just an unconscious thing. But after I left corporate, I never picked back up that mental load. Like, it's either in the computer and it'll be there when I get there, or it's going to be a phone call from Mandy.
Yeah,
But
like
I'm
this is
not.
what we need to work on. Yeah.
And I've even put that off on the kids too. Like, it is your job to remind me of when your musicals are. It is your job to let me know what time you have to go to work. It is your job. Like, you manage your own calendar and then come to me when you need me. But
Yeah.
don't tell me
The
two
thing
weeks in
is, though,
advance because I won't be able to handle that.
yeah. The thing is, though, that is something that they need to. I mean, they're teenagers. If they were 7 years old and you're like, you need to tell me when
Yes.
it's this person's birthday and when their party is, like, that is
Yeah.
child abuse. They can't do that. But, like,
No.
these
It's
teenagers
time
are
for them to
going to move
carry their
out in
own.
a year or two. Like, they need
Mhm.
to be able to do that because it is such a real world thing. You can't have your mom reminding you everything. But I think that just when I think about this, it's not the actual tasks, it's not the dishes and the doing that's exhausting. It's the keeping it all front of mind to make sure that it all happens. Like
Yeah, because you can
that's
never
what the
stop
exhausting part
thinking.
is.
You
No,
can never stop
no, it's
thinking about what
always
needs to
there.
be done. It's kind of like that laundry that you still have to do.
I know. It's just sitting
It's
there.
still on your
And
list.
yeah, I don't really have to think about it too much. Like, I don't have to try and remember because it's right there. Is a big
Yeah,
freaking
it's
pile
gonna
on the
remind
couch in
you.
my bedroom. Yeah, it's taking up the whole thing. But yeah, I just what I want for people to think about is, are you trying to have it all? Did you believe that you could have it all? You could be the CEO and the room mom and the person who drops off and picks up from school and everything. And why do we need all of it, right? Like, are all of those the top priority? Because usually there's a top priority, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So, something that I don't think ever wears off, even when you leave corporate, is the need for perfection. And I think that that's probably a curse that so many of us have that try and have it all, that are trying to be everything to these kids and everything to everyone at work. because you need
Yeah.
that perfection.
It's the standards that we set for ourselves that are breaking us as working moms. You want to be the perfect employee. You want to be the perfect mom. You're trying to be the perfect partner at home. You want to be seen by all your friends and family as the one who's got it together. The how do you pull that off? And Mandy, I can't tell you how many times I got comments on that like, oh my gosh, I look at your social media and you're always going to these cool places and you're doing so great at your job. And these girls, they're so beautiful and respectful and blah, blah, blah. And everybody thought Sam and I were the perfect couple because we were a good time. And it was like, what you see is what there is. There's nothing deeper than that. I don't know what to tell you. But it really looked like we had everything together. But that mental load was killing me. Like, I did not have it
What's
together
that
on the
feel
inside.
like? Right, on the inside. What's it feel like on the inside?
100%
And I think
chaos.
that, yes, yeah, I guarantee that so many people are going through that, right? When it looks perfect on the outside, there are those people who don't have anxiety and that, you know, like these people who are just like unicorns, but everybody else is just treading water, you know, like looking good on top and just freaking out underneath it. That's,
Well,
I guarantee it.
it's like being a firefighter. That's really what it felt like. Like, I'm the one with the hose, but whose fire is the biggest? Which one do I put out first? You know, it's like that. What is that arcade game where the little things pop up and you have to whack-a-mole?
Oh, whack-a-mole.
Like, you're literally standing there like, oh, got that one, got that one, got that one.
Yeah.
You know, like, and that's what it feels like on the inside that, like, oh, I'm going to let something, I'm not going to hit one. And they just keep coming. And then when you do miss something, you feel like absolute shit about yourself and you spiral on like, I'm the worst at my job. I'm the worst mom ever. So in trying to be perfect in both these roles at the same time, I feel like you sometimes kind of fail at both at the same time because you literally cannot be two people
The
in one
standard
body.
is too high. Yeah, the standard is too high for you. And in both areas, I think that burnout is inevitable, I believe, if you are trying to be perfect in too many areas of your life. But how do you lower
have
that
to
standard?
redefine what success looks like
Yeah.
in those areas. Like for me, if I could go back in time, I would not really have changed what I did or how I tried to do it. But I did notice that because I was trying not to lose my identity in being a mom, I lost my identity in my job. Instead of really, you know, we just talked about this a couple episodes ago, instead of keeping my eye on exactly who I am and what it is that I want and what is fulfilling me along the way, I just kept leaning into some other aspect of who I was, you know, a part of my life rather than my actual identity. I developed kind of a sense of FOMO in every aspect of my life to where I had guilt. Like the mom guilt was insane. If I couldn't be there, then I felt bad about it. If I had to miss a meeting because somebody had a recital of some sort, then I felt bad about it to where like I was starting to beat myself up instead of checking all the boxes of all the whack-a-moles that I was able to hit, I'm tracking all the ones that I wasn't able to. And that standard wasn't realistic. I would have gone back and reset what success looked like.
Yeah.
I want a career that is going to add value and that is going to highlight who I am and what my values are instead of detract from it. And if I had been able to do that with maybe clear eyes, I think that things could have maybe felt different along the way for me. But here's the hard truth. And this is the part where, I don't know, some people may not like to hear the truth, but I really think that for those working moms, and I'm not talking about the single moms that literally have no choice, they're providing for their kids, okay? I'm talking about the moms that want to be the high power career woman and also want to have the family, and they want to be the very best at both. The truth of the matter is, I believe that one of those is the most important to you. There's gotta be a priority, right? And that FOMO, that fear of missing out, or maybe it's like fear of regret or judgment from other people.
Yeah, judgment I think is a big one.
Yeah.
If your
you
career
pick one
is
over the
more
other.
important. Yep. And
If I were to
they would be
choose-
judged, right? They would be judged by society, and that's not
Yeah, by
fair.
somebody.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you are not abusing your kids and they're taken care of and loved and they feel loved, right? Like, you shouldn't be ever, a woman shouldn't ever feel like they can't have the high powered career and that shouldn't be a priority to them. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to be the perfect mom that looks like a stay at home mom, but also works 8 to 10 hours a day. You know, like that's what so many
Yeah.
people are striving for because of what society expects from moms, right? And I don't want to make this about the difference between moms and dads because that could send us down a
That's a
really
whole
weird
nother
rabbit hole.
topic. Yeah.
It is. It
Whole
is,
nother topic.
but I'm going to touch on it and say that it fires me up, right? That yes, in society, dads have been the providers, husbands have been the providers, right? But it's
Hmm.
like there are kids who never see their dads, right? But there are kids who have high
Yeah.
powered dads and they still spend plenty of time with them and they still feel loved by them and their dads still make it to most of their baseball games, right? And
And the ones that don't, like, I don't know that the guilt is quite the same.
no,
And
they
maybe
don't feel
that's
the
a gender
same.
thing, is that like men are built differently than women, but it's just not the same.
But I think that yes, the mom guilt is real, but I think that the mom guilt is put on by the people around us, right? Because when you hear that that the dad's always at the baseball games and the mom comes like 1 out of 10 times, you're like, that mom. You know what I mean? Like you don't have
Yeah.
a choice, right? You don't have a choice but to be like, that's weird. You'd think that the mom
Yeah.
would be at everything, you know? Like and that makes me feel bad, but that's just we expect moms because they usually are super freaking present, you know? Even the working
Yeah, it's
ones.
a societal norm,
It
so
is,
that's why
right?
it's expected.
So, but if you want to make your career a priority, your kids are a priority too, but you are going to prioritize it like a man. Why if you have a great relationship with your kids and they're taken care of and fed and loved and whatever, like why does it have to be that way? That makes me mad. Is all I'm
Yeah,
saying.
but and we can't, obviously, we're not going to change the perception to society
Never.
overnight with this, but like, I just want moms to like set the standard for themselves. You know, you
Mhm.
determine what success looks like in being a mom and in your career. But the kind of point that I was trying to make here is that I think that it's that societal pressure, or like the FOMO of it all,
Mhm.
that is causing women to choose both a career and wanting to be the perfect mom because they feel like they have to, right?
Mhm.
Like, they're doing it because, well, if I don't have kids now, or if I don't do this with the kids that I already have, or whatever that looks like, I'm going to regret it, or I'm going to miss out on this that's supposed to be this magical time. But if I
Mhm.
don't keep climbing the ladder over here, then I'm going to be left behind and I'm going to regret it. It's like where you feel like you're being pulled, literally stretched thin in two different directions, but you have to stay on both paths because you don't really know. And I'm here to tell you, like, freaking make a choice. And it's
Mhm.
okay. It doesn't matter. I'm not saying like if you choose your career, you're just no longer going to be a mom. You just have to shift the standards of what being a successful mom looks like. If you choose, okay, no, my kids are the priority, that is where this draws a line. We have to shift the standard on the work side and stop trying so hard to go 90 miles an hour in two different directions at the same time. It's literally impossible. And I think that moms have more of a choice than they give ourselves credit for. And they're choosing both because they're afraid to choose.
Yeah. Well, and I think that one of the biggest things, we talked about quiet quitting again last week. And one of the kind of on the sliding scale of quiet quitting, one of them is a really healthy balance of boundaries and doing a great job, but just not over and beyond and just
Yeah.
stepping all over your personal time. And I love that. But even in that state, you might not have every rung on the ladder open to you, right? And
And
that's
that's
what if
got to
you're
be okay with you
yes,
if that's a
yeah.
choice you're making.
And the thing is that most people who do want to prioritize their kids, the job is less about all of the ladder pieces to get there. You can get, like what happened to you, you got sucked in and you're like, actually, I do want all of these steps on the ladder, and I'm being told I can have both the mom and the, right? And it was kind of a lie, you know, to make it all happen. But I think that if your priority is your kids, then you're needing work for just to have something for yourself. It doesn't have to be everything to you though, right? Because your priority is over here. If you're looking at top priorities, so great. Go and have this medium career, right? Where you have your own friends and your own things to do all day and your own accolades to get and all the things that you want to get out of a job. But stop telling yourself that you can be the CEO and the room mom is all I'm saying. Like that will just burn you out. You could totally do it. It's just going to burn you out to a point where you can't maintain
I
it.
want moms to feel at peace with where they're at on both sides of this. In the decisions that you make in your career and in the way that you show up at home with your family. And I think that that peace doesn't come from having it all. That peace comes from choosing what matters most to you and being okay with what you have to let go of to be where you want to be and put your effort into what matters most. It's about the awareness and knowing where to put your intention and being intentional about that and dropping away all of the expectations of the parts that aren't actually what matters most to you.
Yeah, and I think that in that you have to also get over the potential judgment, right? I think that you do have to get on board though with that there will be judgment probably, you know, depending on what you choose, because people have the views that they have on what should be other people's priorities. And that sucks. I see things all the time on social media, but I look at this one specific clip in a movie, The Intern with Anne Hathaway. Have you seen that? Anne Hathaway and Robert De Niro. And I love that movie. But those moms at the school are so judgy of her for being a high-powered working mom, right? And her husband is the stay-at-home husband, and that's what works for them, right?
It works for them.
But those stay-at-home moms are judging the shit out of her for, I mean, she tries to be present every time that she can, but she's not going to be at everything. But it's the same. A lot of working moms look straight down on stay-at-home moms. Like, that's not a job. And it's like, listen, we all have different situations and priorities and incomes, you know.
We all need to keep our eyes on our own paper is what this boils down to. Like, stay in your lane.
It's nobody else's business at all, right? Obviously, there is, I don't know. Again, there's societal norms. As somebody who never birthed children, I feel the judgment sometimes, and then I have to make them feel bad by being like, listen, I freaking tried. But even if I hadn't tried, and I would have been capable of having biological children
with you that you didn't have children.
No, and but there are so many people who are child free by choice, or what do they call it? And that's freaking fine, right? But we all judge each other for having kids, how we take care of those kids, if we work while we have those kids, or if we stay at home with those kids, and those kids are at school. Why didn't you go back to work? Like, get the fuck out of here, right? Yeah. It's nobody's problem but your own. And if we could, which I don't know that we get rid of judgment because it seems like it's the American way, but like if we could get everyone to just stop worrying about what everyone else is doing, as long as children are taken care of and not being abused, then what is your freaking problem? Let people either be a working mom to the level that they want to, let them be a stay-at-home mom, let them make their priorities, and everybody wins, right? Because it's what is happening is we are feeling the pressures of what society wants from us, and we don't even know what our priorities are because we don't know like how we would feel if all of these pressures weren't coming from each side.
Right. And I don't even think it's not even a conscious thing that I think moms are doing, the standards that we put on ourselves.
No.
It really just comes down to wanting to do a good job at everything that you're doing. And I don't think that's unrealistic. You just have to redefine what doing a good job looks like and how much is realistic in what you've taken on. This whole conversation, and not in a bad way, is very exhausting to me because it takes me back to a time where I only really ever felt exhausted. And it did get to the point where it was like, I've been telling myself that I'm doing this for my kids, right? Like, I was not the breadwinner. I didn't have to work to, for us to live. But I wanted my kids to see that just because you become a mom doesn't mean that you stop being a human. That
Yeah,
you
you're still
stop
your own
having needs
person.
of your own and you have ambitions and desires. Like, your life's not over just because you have a mom. And I really wanted to be the example and the role model in that. And in that, I feel like I did a good job because they both see that, like, you're not just a mom, right? You're a whole well-rounded human, and I think that's fantastic. But I didn't weigh the costs at the time. And one of the biggest costs, if you will, in that is that it stole the joy. It stole the joy of the time that I did have with them because of the mental load that I was still carrying. It stole the joy of the work that I was doing because of what I was missing out on. And then I created a scenario of, because I didn't choose a path, like one path, or redefine standards on what success looked like on the multiple things that I wanted to do, I couldn't enjoy any of it. And I did fail as a mom, just like every mom does, right? Like, it's not really failing as a mom, but like, I let people down. I let people down at work because I was literally stretching myself too thin. And, at the end of this, like, it is an exhausting conversation, but the point here really isn't about what you have to choose, right? It's not like, we're not advocating for corporate mamas to quit their jobs. We're not saying there's anything wrong with a stay-at-home mom, right? Like, it's not about telling you what you need to choose. It's about being honest with yourself about what it is that you really want and putting your effort and energy into that. And if you are gung-ho, I'm going to be the CEO, I'm going to climb this ladder, like, this is the most important thing to me, then drop the guilt if you got to get a nanny. Like, it's okay. You said it
Yeah.
earlier, your kids are not abused. They're well taken care of and they are loved. Don't feel guilty about it. And don't try to be more than is humanly possible at the same time. If
Yeah.
you decide that your kids are the priority, then maybe you can be successful in the role that you're currently in without doing so dang much to get to the next step that you're missing out on the joy in being the mama that is apparently the most important thing. Like, it's just about the self-awareness and getting over the societal expectation. Just make a
I
choice
agree.
and
I
own
agree
it.
with that. And I think that like, what I want to say to kind of wrap this up in, how do we fix this, right? Like, how do we get
Yeah.
past this? So let's say that you are a mom, your priority is your kids, right? Like, that is, when you look at it, you're like, okay, I see that my priority is the kids. My priority is being at every single school event, every single, I want to drop off, I want to pick up, right? Like, that's what you envision for your life. That's your core purpose. Why do you have a job? All right, I have a job because I need money. That's the only reason that you have a job, all right, is because you need money. Can we look at something that's a little bit more flexible then, right? Where you don't have so many responsibilities. I will tell you, I know a stay-at-home mom who also works, but has found a position where she goes out and she does, you know what I mean? Like, she's found the perfect position for herself, that she makes her own schedule 100%, right? 100%. She still makes plenty of money, but her priority is not ever running her own business, really, isn't climbing to the top of the ladder. She needed something to be out being around people, right? Because so many
Yeah.
moms are like,
She just
I
needed a
wish I could
break.
just
Yeah.
stay home, but I can't be with my kids 24/7. Understandable, right? That's a lot of time
Yeah.
with people who are not adults, like, you can't have those same conversations with. So, got it. Then you need something that's a little more part-time where you can be with people. figure out what you're trying to get out of having a job, if that's something that you need or want to do, or try and figure out if you're like, I really want my priority to be like, I have always dreamed of being a neurosurgeon. Cool. That's going to take a lot of your time and effort. So you're going to go do that. But like, what do you want out of being a mom, right? Is it that you are just having these kids because society says you can't not have kids? That's not a reason to have kids. Are you doing it because you want these people in your life, but you really don't care about being at all the, school stuff, right? You just want to make sure that you have quality time with them every evening or whatever it is, right? Like, figure out your priorities and then figure out how to be really, really good at both things that you're doing without trying to be everything because that just isn't sustainable. So anyway, that's my 2 cents. There's a lot of different directions to go, and you just might be potentially in the wrong job if you feel like you're failing at work and at being a mom. You might be in the wrong job. There might be something that fits more perfect for you, depending, or you have to bend your mind to let yourself maybe not be the absolute perfect mom, right? But you could still be a freaking excellent one, So
Yep.
you just have to figure out what those priorities are.
Redefine the standards. I agree. This is, gosh, I don't know if there is a more personal conversation for me in this. I feel like I'm kind of going through that yet again right now on a little bit of a different scale. My girls are going to live with their dad now, and I couldn't be happier about it. And like, why does it feel weird to say that out loud? It's not that I don't want my kids to live with me. I'm not going to live with their dad. And we have different strengths as parents. And I can see in them, because they've lived with me, that they could really use some of his strengths right now. So it's in their best interest to spend time with them. And I look forward to the growth and the change that I know that that's going to bring on, but I'm having to actively do what we are encouraging listeners to do right now, which is to block the societal norms, block the judgment from other people. I don't know if anybody's judging me or not. I haven't stopped to ask because I don't really care. I'm having to just
You can't
continue
care
to tell
about that.
myself it doesn't matter. It kind of doesn't matter. You're doing your best. You're doing the absolute best thing that you can for your kids, and it's going to be good for them. So it doesn't matter what other people think. If you think that we're just sitting up here from a soapbox talking about all these big feelings that are real deep and personal things going on, I can assure you, living it in real time, that is not the case. So I look forward to the comments and the conversations that continue, maybe even offline, about this with, whoever might be listening and interested in this topic.
Yeah. Well, thank you for this conversation. It was lovely. And yeah, if you have any secrets, I'm never going to get over this. Okay. Please tell us your corporate secrets. I don't care if they're 20 years old. If you're like, whenever I worked at my first job, I, was stealing money for 8 years. I don't know. Tell us your freaking secrets. It doesn't matter. That's not my secret.
I like that story.
Yeah,
Keep going.
that's not my secret. I made that up. But if you have something that is happening right now, or that happened a million years ago that you want to tell us, we would love to tell your stories on here. So tell us your secrets at thecorporateburnouts.com.
I love it.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.